Every registered business in Nigeria, whether they like it or not, answers to this law. What is this law? Day one of 30 day of Know Your Karma challenge. For the next 30 days, just relax. We're going to be going on a learning journey, legal education journey, I would love to call it, where we're going to be looking at the sections of the Companies and Allied Matters Act from sections 1 to 870. And today, day one, we're looking at sections 1 to 17. First, before we dive into anything, section 1 establishes the Corporate Affairs Commission, which we all know as the CAC. Section 1 gives the power of the establishment of the CAC. And of course, you know, the CAC is a corporate body that can sue and be sued, own property, dispose of it. Its headquarters is in the FCT Abuja. And of course, every state, 36 states, sorry, the remaining 35 states have a CAC branch in their states. We move on to the board. Of course, the board is a 12-member board, and get comfortable. We'll be looking at this, like everything we're going to be saying is coming from this. This is my copy of CAMA. I'm not going to be telling you anything from here. I'm telling you everything that is here. So this is our principle for this 30-day journey, if we would like to call that, right? So the CAC has a governing board of 12 members, and of course, there's a chairman of the board who is appointed by the president on the recommendation of the minister. And anywhere you see a reference to minister in CAMA, we're talking about the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments, right? So, of course, we just talk about the chairman. And then there are other members of this board. And if you're writing ICSAN, I think this is, a place to listen because they always ask the members of the board. We're looking at, there's a representative from NASIMA, there's a representative from the MBA, there's a representative from SEC, there's a representative from the professional accounting body. There's a representative from ICSAN. How can I forget? And of course, there's a representative from MAN, and and there's a representative also from the ministry, federal ministries of trade, investment, and industry, trade and investment, Ministry of Justice, and Ministry of Finance. And of course, there is the RG. CAMA Section 3 talks about their tenure and tenure in office and the vacancy. And of course, when we always talk about vacancy or appointment for CAMA, if you know CAMA, once CAMA tells you that somebody can be appointed, they will tell you on what grounds they cannot be appointed, right? So Section 3 addresses that. The functions of the board, of course, number one is to make sure that you all obey this law, like I said before, whether you like it or not. Okay, so they basically provide the guidelines, policy guidelines for performing of the functions of CAC. Of course, in accordance with international best practice, always. They also have general oversight of the CAC, the fixed remuneration of the and allowances and benefits of the employees of the CAC, and what else? What else? Like I said before, they make sure you obey these acts. What else? Sections. Yes, did I forget to say that? Of course, the members of this board, they are also entitled to some remuneration, some payments, and of course, it is determined by the minister. We go on to disclosure. Well, section 6 talks about the proceedings, how they meet, and how their quorum basically, and of course the disclosure of interest. Anytime CAMA talks about the appointment of anyone who is supposed to be in charge or manage an affair of something, they always talk about disclosure of interest, which is very important, and you'll be seeing why in the coming days. And of course, the functions of the CAC is to administer this CAMA to make sure that you know it and obey it. Also, the functions of the CAC now is they register, they regulate, and they supervise the formation, incorporation, management, striking off, winding up of companies, business names, incorporated trustees, and also they also establish and maintain the company's registry at the office and each states of the federation. Like I said before, there's CAC in every state, so there is supposed to be a company's register So they also manage and investigate, conduct investigations of companies. And when we, proceed in these conversations, we would see how some of these investigations can be done. They also ensure compliance by companies, by registered business names, and of course incorporated trustees, and of this particular CAMA and every other regulation that may be prescribed, by the CAC or made by the CAC, as CAMA says. Remember, I said we're going to be sticking to what CAMA says, not what we think. Right. So the RG, we talked about the RG. The appointment of the RG, of course, the commission shall. If you're writing an exam, you should want to look at sections 9 to tell you the qualities of the person who can be appointed as RG. And I think this is very important for me to mention that in section 11, it says, right, contrary to what we may know, that notwithstanding the provisions of the CAC and anyone that is appointed to the office of the RG or an employee of the CAC who is a legal practitioner, while he was appointed or while he's a staff, is entitled to represent the CAC as a legal practitioner for the purpose and the course of his employment. That caveat, for the purpose and for the course of his employment, right? Of course, we they go on to say that service in the commission is pensionable as it should, right? And funds of the commission shall establish a fund. Of course, that's how they are going to be run now. Yeah. So they have a fund, they can establish a fund. And the money is that how they spend the money. I know that one of the things that they do is to lay their accounts, prepare their accounts as prescribed by the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, right? And also, the accounts of the commission shall be audited not later than 6 months after the end of the year, and by auditors that are appointed by the CAC from the list and in accordance with the guidelines issued by the Auditor General for the Federation, right? What else is very important to know in this? Yes, pre-action notice and restriction on levy of execution. So, for you to file a suit against the CAC, all of you that have paper body for CAC, for you to file a suit, you must give them pre-action notice that is 30 days. So you cannot sue if you have not given that 30 days written notice to commence a suit against them. Right. What else? What else? I think that's basically all for day one. We've just seen how the CAC is established, how it is run, the members of the board. Remember, there are 12. We talked about the people who qualify to be on this board. We talked about how what the CAC is basic, their primary objective, of the CAC, and what else? Yeah, we also talked about pre-action notice. So have this in mind for day one. I'll see you on day two.